You finally reach your cruise cabin, the door clicks open, and every instinct tells you the hard part of the trip is over. It is not. The next 30 minutes quietly decide whether your week turns into the relaxing escape you paid for, or a slow drip of surprise charges, sleepless nights, and wasted perks nobody warned you about. Cabin stewards have less than 20 minutes to turn a room around between passengers, which means small problems get missed constantly, and cruise lines are counting on you not noticing until it is too late to fix anything. I spent months collecting real traveler stories and combining them with habits shared by cabin crew, and today I am walking you through the 12 things to do the moment that door opens. Number 7 on this list is the one almost nobody thinks to do, and it can save you more than everything else combined. Before we get into cabin number 1, if this kind of practical cruise knowledge is useful to you, tap that subscribe button right now, because every video on senior cruise secrets is built to help you avoid the traps most first-time and repeat cruisers walk straight into. All right, let us get into your cabin. Number 1, take photos of your cruise cabin immediately. Here is something cruise lines will never put in their welcome brochure. You are treated as responsible for any damage found in your cabin unless you can prove otherwise, and that proof has to exist before you touch anything. A traveler from Ohio walked into her cabin, unpacked calmly, enjoyed a wonderful week at sea, and then found a $200 carpet stain charge waiting on her final bill. That stain had been there since before she boarded, but by the time she noticed the charge, she was already home, and her word alone meant nothing to the billing department. Damage claims on most ships get processed after passengers disembark, which means once you leave, you lose your ability to argue anything without evidence. Here is what you do the second that door opens. Pull out your phone and record a slow 60-second video, walking through the entire cabin, panning across the carpet, the furniture, the balcony railing if you have one, and every corner of the bathroom. Say the date and the time out loud while you record so the video is time-stamped in your own voice, not just in a file property nobody checks. Zoom in on any marks, scuffs, or stains you notice, because that footage becomes your only real defense on disembarkation day. Rule of thumb, if you cannot prove a mark was already there, the cruise line will assume it was you, and you will be the one paying for it. This one habit takes under 2 minutes, yet it consistently protects travelers who would otherwise have no way to push back on a billing decision made weeks after they already left the ship, and it costs absolutely nothing to do. Number 2, connect to the ship's Wi-Fi and download the cruise line app. Most passengers wait until they are settled in before dealing with technology, and that small delay costs them more than they realize. Wi-Fi bandwidth on a cruise ship is shared among thousands of guests, and the moment the ship fills up, speeds crawl to a frustrating pace that makes even simple messaging painful. A retired teacher from Nevada waited until after dinner on her first night to connect, and by then the network was so congested she could not load her daily schedule or send a single photo home. Here is what you do. Connect to the ship's Wi-Fi the moment you are in your cabin, before thousands of other guests log on at the same time, and download the cruise line's official app immediately if you have not already. That app becomes your command center for the entire trip, showing your dining reservations, onboard credit, daily schedule, and any account issues in real time. Pro tip: test your connection speed from both the bed and the balcony area, because thick steel walls create dead zones in certain parts of almost every cabin, and if the signal is unusable in the spot you paid for, you can screenshot the result and request a partial refund from the internet desk before the end of the cruise. Setting this up early also means your family back home gets a message from you on day 1 instead of day 3, which quietly saves you from a dozen worried calls to guest services asking them to track you down. The app itself is worth exploring slowly during those first quiet minutes, since most passengers only ever discover half of what it actually offers by the time the cruise is already over. Quick pause here, because if you are finding this helpful, drop a comment below telling me which cruise line you are sailing on next. It genuinely helps me shape future videos around the ships you are actually booking, and if you have not already, hit subscribe so this channel keeps landing in your feed. Number 3. Check that your bed configuration is correct. If you booked a king bed and walk in to find two twin beds pushed together, waiting until bedtime to fix it means you are sleeping in an uncomfortable gap all night long. A couple from Florida requested a king bed months in advance, arrived to find twins pushed together with a noticeable crack down the middle, and called housekeeping at 9 at night, expecting a quick fix. They were told the change could not happen until the following day because by evening, stewards are already buried in requests from other cabins reporting the exact same issue. Here is what you do. Check your bed setup within the first few minutes of entering your cabin, and if it does not match what you booked, track down your steward in person rather than calling the front desk, because most stewards carry a simple tool that links twin mattresses into a king configuration in about 5 minutes when caught early. Insider move: if your cabin includes a pull-down bunk or a sofa bed that is open and you have no plans to use it, ask your steward to fold it away immediately, since that single request instantly frees up noticeable floor space for the rest of the week. Checking this within the first few minutes also means you sleep well on night 1 rather than adjusting to a mistake for several nights before anyone finally fixes it for you. Number 4. Reserve dining shows and activities before they fill up. Popular dinner slots, the best shows, and hands-on activities fill up within hours of embarkation, not days, and passengers who wait until after unpacking often find their preferred times already gone. A traveler from Texas planned to book her specialty dinner reservation and theater seats after settling in for the evening, only to discover every desirable slot had already been claimed by guests who acted within the first hour of boarding. Here is what you do. Open the cruise line app or visit the reservations desk within your first 30 minutes on board, and lock in your preferred dining times, show seating, and any excursions or classes you care about before doing anything else in your cabin. Pro tip: popular specialty restaurants and evening shows are almost always gone by dinner time on embarkation day, so treat this step with the same urgency as checking your bed, because reservations you delay by even a few hours often disappear entirely for the rest of the sailing. Even if you plan to decide your activities day by day, locking in just 2 or 3 anchor reservations early gives your whole week a comfortable structure instead of leaving you scrambling for scraps of availability later on. Cooking classes, wine tastings, and hands-on workshops tend to disappear the fastest of all, often within the first hour of boarding, so if any of those interest you even slightly, treat booking them as urgent as finding your cabin steward. Number 5. Lock your passport and valuables in the safe. Here is something that catches even experienced travelers off guard. Cabin safes run on batteries that are not always replaced between passengers, and if that battery dies while your valuables are locked inside, you could be waiting on ship security to physically drill the safe open. A woman from Illinois locked her passport, cash, and jewelry away on the first night, and on disembarkation morning, the safe simply would not respond, forcing security to break it open while she watched her flight departure time creep closer. Here is what you do. Test the safe while it is completely empty first, lock it, then unlock it, and confirm the keypad responds instantly and the door opens smoothly before you trust it with anything valuable. Once you know it works, lock away your passport, spare cash, jewelry, and most importantly, your house keys and car keys, since those are consistently the most commonly lost items on the final day of any cruise. Pro tip: if the safe does not respond correctly during your test, call guest services immediately and request a battery replacement or a maintenance visit, rather than discovering the problem on the one day it truly matters. A working safe you tested yourself gives you real peace of mind for the rest of the week, instead of a quiet worry sitting in the back of your mind every time you leave the cabin for a few hours. It also means you can enjoy every port day fully, walking off the ship without a second thought about what you left behind in that little metal box. Number 6. Test everything in the cabin: TV, lights, fridge, AC, balcony door. Small mechanical issues that seem minor on day 1 become genuinely miserable by day 3, and cabins with cooling problems are consistently the most common complaint among cruisers, especially those who prefer a cooler room at night. A retired nurse from Arizona did not bother testing her air conditioning until bedtime, discovered the cabin sitting at a warm and sticky temperature called maintenance at 11 at night, and was told a technician could not arrive until 9 the next morning. Here is what you do. The moment you walk in, turn the thermostat to its coldest setting and continue unpacking or exploring other tasks on this list for about 20 minutes, then check whether the room has actually cooled down. While you wait, flip on the television, test every light switch, open and press on the mini fridge door, and open and close the balcony door if your cabin has one, listening for any strange sounds or resistance. Rule of thumb, report anything broken in the first hour, because afternoon maintenance requests get handled while you are at dinner, but requests made late at night often means sleeping through the problem until morning. This entire check takes less time than unpacking a single bag, and it consistently separates travelers who spend the week completely comfortable from those quietly battling a warm room or a flickering light for days before anyone finally addresses it. Number 7. Meet your cabin steward and request extras. This is the step almost nobody thinks to prioritize, yet it can unlock more comfort and savings than any other singles action on this entire list. Cabin stewards control access to a small, limited supply of comfort items including extra pillows, mattress toppers, robes, ice service, and pressing for formal night, and these items go to whoever asks first, not whoever asks nicest later in the week. A traveler from Georgia introduced herself to her steward within the first 30 minutes on board, mentioned she struggles to sleep on firm mattresses, and had a mattress topper delivered within the hour, while her travel companion in a nearby cabin waited until that evening and was told supply had already run out. Here is what you do. Find your steward in the hallway soon after boarding, introduce yourself, learn their name, and politely ask for a few comfort items if they are available, phrasing it exactly that simply and directly. Pro tip: a small cash tip alongside a warm introduction on day 1 consistently leads to faster and more attentive service throughout the entire week, according to numerous stewards who have shared this pattern themselves. A short, genuine conversation on day 1, learning their name and asking how their day is going, tends to matter far more than any amount of cash, and travelers who take that extra minute consistently describe noticeably better service by the middle of the week. Number 8. Check your muster station instructions. Safety briefings feel like a formality to many passengers, yet the muster station assigned to your cabin is genuinely important information you want settled early, rather than scrambling to find during a crowded, noisy drill. A first-time cruiser from Michigan ignored the safety card in her cabin, assumed she would simply follow the crowd during the drill, and ended up confused and separated from her travel companion in a packed hallway during the mandatory muster exercise. Here is what you do. Locate the safety information card in your cabin, usually behind the door or inside a drawer, and confirm your assigned muster station along with the fastest route from your cabin to that location. Walk the route once if you have time before the drill begins, so you are moving with confidence rather than following a crowd of confused strangers. Rule of thumb: knowing this information calmly on day 1 means you never have to think about it again for the rest of the cruise, and it genuinely matters if a real situation ever arises. Most passengers never think about this step again once it is settled, and that quiet confidence lets you relax completely for the remainder of the trip, instead of carrying a small nagging worry in the back of your mind. Crew members genuinely appreciate passengers who take this part of the trip seriously without being asked twice, since it makes the mandatory drill move faster and more smoothly for absolutely everyone on board. If you are finding value in these details, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. It tells more people exactly like you that this information is worth their time. And if you know someone planning their first cruise, send this video their way before they even pack their bags. Number 9. Sanitize high-touch surfaces and inspect the bathroom. Your steward does an excellent job in an incredibly short amount of time. But with limited minutes assigned to each cabin, deep sanitizing of every surface simply is not realistic between guests. A traveler from Colorado fell ill early in her cruise and later traced it back to the television remote, one of the most frequently touched and least frequently disinfected items in any cabin on any ship. Here is what you do. Pack sanitizing wipes in your carry-on bag before you even leave home, and once inside your cabin, wipe down the remote control, the cabin phone, every door handle, the light switches, the thermostat buttons, and the safe keypad. While you are in the bathroom, run the shower for 30 seconds and watch how well the drain handles the water. Flush the toilet to confirm it works properly, and press every soap and shampoo dispenser to check they are actually filled. Pro tip: the bathroom faucet handles and shower controls are commonly missed during quick turnovers, so give those an extra wipe along with everything else on this list. Travelers who take 5 minutes for this simple routine on embarkation day consistently report feeling far more relaxed touching surfaces throughout the week, instead of quietly wondering who else has been in that cabin before them. It is a small habit, but for anyone with a sensitive immune system, or simply a preference for extra caution, it genuinely changes how comfortable the entire cabin feels from that first night onward. Number 10. Unpack essential items and hang wrinkle-prone clothes. Cabins are genuinely small, and living out of an open suitcase all week makes even a comfortable room feel cramped and chaotic by the third day. A traveler from Pennsylvania left her formal night dress folded in her suitcase for 2 days, only to discover on the morning of the event that it needed serious steaming and there was no time left to fix it properly. Here is what you do. Unpack any clothing prone to wrinkling first, including dresses, blazers, and dress shirts, and hang them immediately in the closet so they have time to relax before you actually need to wear them. Keep medications, chargers, and anything you need daily easily accessible rather than buried at the bottom of a suitcase, and save the rest of your unpacking for later once the essentials are handled. Insider move: if a piece of clothing is already showing wrinkles by the time you unpack it, ask your steward about pressing service on your very first day, since that request line fills up fast as formal night approaches. Taking 10 focused minutes for this on your very first day means your cabin feels organized and comfortable immediately, rather than looking like a suitcase explosion for the first half of the cruise. Number 11. Remove minibar items if you need fridge space. That stocked mini fridge might look empty and ready for your own groceries, medication, or drinks, but on many modern ships, every single item inside has a sensor attached, and simply moving something can trigger an automatic charge. A traveler from Oregon shifted a bottle of water aside to make room for insulin that needed refrigeration and did not realize until reviewing her final bill that the bottle sensor had charged her the moment it was moved. Here is what you do before touching anything inside the fridge. Take a clear photo of everything exactly as it sits, and then ask your steward to remove the stocked items for you entirely, which is by far the safest option available. If you must move things yourself for any reason, document the process as you go, and remember the simple rule: if it is sitting in that fridge, assume it costs money until your steward confirms otherwise. A quick photo taken before you touch a single item gives you clear proof if a charge ever appears on your bill that you did not actually expect or agree to. This whole process takes less than a minute, yet travelers who skip it consistently end up spending far more time later disputing charges at guest services during the final days of the cruise, which is not how anyone wants to spend their last afternoon at sea. Number 12. Set the makeup cabin or do not disturb sign before leaving. This final habit takes about 3 seconds, yet it genuinely shapes your entire day once you step outside that door. A traveler from Washington left her cabin without setting any sign at all, assumed her room would simply be cleaned sometime during the day like clockwork, and returned from a full day off the ship to find her bed still unmade and towels still used from the morning. Here is what you do before you leave your cabin for the day. Take 3 seconds to flip the sign on your door to whichever option matches what you actually want. Makeup cabin if you want service that day, or do not disturb if you are sleeping in or simply want privacy. Rule of thumb: stewards are managing dozens of cabins on a tight schedule, and clear signage is genuinely one of the easiest ways to guarantee your preferences are respected without a single conversation needed. This tiny 3-second habit, repeated every single day of your cruise, quietly prevents nearly every awkward moment of a steward walking in while you are resting or getting ready. It also helps your steward plan their entire route for the day, which means your cabin actually gets serviced faster and more consistently than cabins where the sign is left blank or forgotten entirely. Knowing all 12 of these steps sets you up for a genuinely smoother week at sea, free from the small surprises that quietly ruin a first day for so many travelers. If any part of this helped you feel more prepared for your next sailing, that is exactly what Senior Cruise Secrets is here for, so make sure you are subscribed, because upcoming videos are going to cover embarkation day mistakes that get travelers stuck in long lines or even denied boarding entirely before they ever reach their cabin. Drop a comment letting me know which of these 12 steps surprised you the most, and I will see you in the next one. Traveling smart is not about being suspicious of every crew member or every corner of the ship. It is simply about walking in with the same quiet confidence that experienced cruisers carry, the kind that comes from knowing exactly what to check, exactly what to ask for, and exactly how to protect your time and your money from the very first minute you step into your room. That confidence is what turns a good cruise into a genuinely great one, and it is something every single person watching this video can build for themselves, starting with their very next sailing.